What's up guys? So last week I made a video about Frostbite, how I think it's one of the best sets in the game for PvP, and it is very underrated. And this week I want to follow up with that, like this is gonna be very like whale team or you need these specific champions. But if you do have them, then this is the best team to farm Frostbiter, and also the one that requires the least gear as well. Basically, the only one that in the team you need to have in the gear is Drextar, and nobody else really needs any gear. Like on Drextar, you will need a kind of tanky Frostbite gear with a decent amount of both defense and HP. So something like this, but it could be even more. It could be faster, it could be slower. Both will work. And even if you don't get 100% win rate against this boss, it's not big deal as long as you have fast fights. But yeah, I mean, it's a basic build. There's nothing really to it. You could totally do this without any masteries. It's not about the masteries. But what you need Drextar there for is just for it to survive and keep rocking his passive that will burn the boss. And you will want to get around like 500 plus accuracy on him. But outside of that, basically nobody else in the team needs to have any gear. Like you will need double Kalvalax in order to put out poisons on the waves. But as you can see, mine like doesn't really even have like full gear on. And basically only thing that they need is accuracy. Actually, it would be even better if they were slower. Like ideally they would be 0 speed, that they don't take any turns. And they wouldn't be tanky so that they get one shot by the boss. But basically any gear on them goes as long as they have enough accuracy and you don't even need masteries or anything else. And on the Kymar it's kind of the same deal. Actually my Kymar isn't in the optimal build for this team at all. Ideally it would be fast enough that it is just speed tuned with Savia, but it would be very squishy and it will get one shot by the boss. So mine isn't like in optimal build either, and you don't need any masteries or anything, so pretty much anything goes. And it's even the same for Savia. Like what you need on waves is that Savia goes first and one-shots the waves. But let's say your Kalvalaxes are like 120 speed, you could have 130 speed Savia and that would be good enough for this team. And her damage and like nothing here really matters at all. It's only about proccing her A3, which will detonate all of the poisons in the enemy team. And the Kalvalaxes will put out poisons with their passives. And then Savia will just one-shot them with this skill, regardless of the gear. And then for the next wave, Kymar will reset the cooldowns. Now I can show you the setup quickly, but basically it's the same deal. I mean, only thing that kind of matters is that on the last wave it would be better to turn off the second skill on Drextar, but even this doesn't really make any difference. Like you can proc burns both with his passive and A1, but passive should mostly do it. And apart from that, I guess on my team the Kymar is faster, so in the first wave I of course make Kymar start with his A2, so that he saves the A3 for the second wave. And yeah, in the first wave he will go with A2, then Savia will one-shot the enemy, then in the second wave he will start with the A3 and go before Savia, so it works out that way. But let's actually take a look at the run so that you can see. When I was doing this team, it wasn't like 100% win rate, but it was very high win rate. But it is very hard to make a fast team on this boss. Like if you run something like triple HP nuke, like let's say Royal Guard or Husk, and then maybe 2 supports to keep your team alive, it's very slow to kill the waves on this boss. So you're probably killing this boss in maybe like 5 to 8 minutes, even if it's 100% win rate. So if you happen to have these champions, basically you will need 2 Kalvalaxes, a cooldown reset, it doesn't necessarily have to be Kaimar. It could be like Renegade or Yumeko as well. I mean, those would work. And any Poison Explosion champion, kind of the same deal. And Drexstar is the best one. I think probably there is other ones, but out of the top of my head, I'm not sure. But probably you have Drexstar and he doesn't need good gear, and you probably ranked him up in the early game. So yeah, basically 1 cooldown reset, 1 Poison Explosion, 2 Calvalaxes and 1 Drexstar. And you will say that, okay, 2 Calvalaxes is super whale and many of the mega whales don't have 2 Calvalaxes. Well, it is what it is. Maybe you're like me, that there is many important arena champions that you would really want to get, and then instead you get these stupid Calvalaxes, and then your clan mates flame you for getting them, because like I got both of these long time ago when he was pretty new, and many people really wanted to get Calvalax for PvE, but I don't care about PvE at all, and I want to do all of the PvE content like with as little effort as possible, and like full auto ideally, and with gear that I don't need for arena. That's basically my requirements. Like, it doesn't have to be super fast, but of course the faster the better. But in this team you don't really need, like, this is first of all a very fast fight. The other fights are gonna be like 3 times slower or more, but actually it doesn't have really a lot of gear requirements either, so you can save all of your good stuff for other content. Only thing you need that has kind of gear requirements is the regeneration gear on Drexstar, but even here this isn't like my best or second best or third best regeneration. It's just some random gear. Like, I could make him faster and tankier, but there is no need. Anyway, let's watch a run and see how this works in practice. But yeah, it will basically go as I said previously, like Calvalaxes are gonna put poisons during the waves, and then when Xavia gets like his cooldown reset and does his A3, he's just gonna one-shot them and like explode the poisons. And the Tormins like don't proc their passives because they get block revive, so it has very good synergy with it. Like, otherwise these waves can be very slow to kill because there is multiple Tormins with passives and other tanky champions. And yeah, here ideally like Kaimar and everybody else except Drexstar would get one shot, but my Kaimar is built for arena, so he isn't in ideal build on this. And maybe you have multiple Kaimars, you can just use one like naked Kaimar with like the bare minimum speed for this content, with like no tankiness and only like couple pieces of gear on, and that would work even better than this Kaimar actually. And one thing that you can see here is that the boss does put block heal, so it will look kind of iffy, and it isn't like 100% win ratio, but it looks scary, but it usually gets the job done. Like, he will go kind of low because he doesn't get healed at the start, but then he will recover back up, and the boss doesn't really do that much damage on him if he's built tanky. So if he gets couple turns in without like heal reduction, then he will like top himself up and he will be able to sustain multiple turns. And one thing to take in account here is that you don't really want to build any resistance on your Drexstar or whatever other champion that you might use here. I'm sure there's other ones that will totally work as well, but in this case, if he gets like frozen, it's actually good because it saves animation time and it makes the fight faster. So you definitely don't want to build any resistance on him. And basically, he will just get ragdolled by the boss for a while and kill him with the burns from his passive or A1, and that will get the job done. And that is kind of fast fight, so yeah, I'm very happy about this because this helped me a lot. And I knew about this team, but I thought that this team was actually very slow, because even if you one-shot the waves, I thought that it does take forever. And I was always looking at the rankings, and I remember one time, like maybe like a year ago or 2 years ago, I asked somebody with something like this. I don't recall if it was this exact team, but it was basically like Dregstar with bunch of poisoners. And I asked how long the fights were, and he said it was like 5 minutes or something. But yeah, somebody in my clan, or actually my clan leader, he told me that I could actually make this team, and it only took a couple minutes to set this up, and it totally works. And yeah, I mean, probably most of you can't make this comp, but maybe some of you do, and maybe you didn't know about this comp, or maybe you didn't think that it was as good as it is like I did. So hope this helps like some of you. But anyway, that's it for this video, and see you next time.